Hello and welcome to Little Woolly Things. My name is Wendelica and I am Little Woolly Things. You can find me all over social media as Little Woolly Things on Instagram, Facebook, Ravelry, Twitter, everywhere. Did I say Facebook? I said Facebook. Okay. Today is Tuesday, November 7th, and this is episode 7. And I'm babysitting my granddaughter today, so if you hear some crashes and bumps and noises, it's probably the kids trying to entertain her. Hopefully I won't have to edit too much of that out. Okay, let's see. Thank you for watching. I am so glad to have you here. I hope that I can keep you company while you're working on your projects. Whatever time of the day it might happen to be. I tend to watch podcasts and get my knitting done at night after the kids are in bed because that's what works for me. I've always been a night owl, and yeah, my husband doesn't understand it, but that's when I feel the most creative. So all of you podcasters out there, I am watching you between 10 p.m. and midnight. Always. So anyway, let's see, where should I start? I keep looking down at my notes because they're way down here and nearly at the floor. Okay. Oh, I have some cool stuff to show off. It's been almost a month since I last recorded a podcast, so I got lots of stuff to show you. I hope you guys are as interested in it as I am. If you weren't, I suppose you wouldn't be here. This podcast is mostly about knitting. It's also about coffee. Because I like to roast coffee. I'm learning an awful lot about coffee beans and the whole roasting process. I have been roasting my own coffee for about a year now. Yep, just a few days over a year. And so yeah, I'll just jump into it right now. My current drink of choice, bean of choice, is from... I was going to say Kenya, but that was my last podcast. This one's from Brazil. It is a dry processed bean, which means that it is picked off of the plants and then laid out in the sun to dry with the coffee cherry still on it. And then after that is dried, they separate the fruit pulp from the bean that's at the center of it, and that is supposed to give the coffee a little more of that fruity, natural coffee cherry flavor. And so this is a Turkish coffee version of my Brazil bean. I roasted this. I thought I was getting a dark roast on it. I just roasted it a little hotter than I probably should have, and so it went through all the stages really quickly, and I thought that I was actually over roasting it. I had just a few little specks of oil on the outsides of the beans. But then when I cooled it and I looked at it, it wasn't quite as dark as I expected it to be. So it does have a lot of really good flavor, and it smells wonderful. Oh my gosh, it smells very good. So earlier I recorded a kind of a, I don't know if you'd call it a tutorial, but anyway, demonstration of how I make my Turkish coffee. So I will insert it right here. So this is how I make Turkish coffee. I actually have what is called an ibrik, which is a Greek coffee pot. Traditional Turkish coffee is made in something very similar, but it's called a sezve. They're basically the same coffee. So I use my ibrik and I make more of a Turkish style coffee. I start with this Turkish coffee grinder that I bought last year in an antique store in Ashland, Oregon. It's made out of brass. It's really cool, and it takes forever to grind the coffee. So I'm going to grind this coffee, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I finally have my coffee ground, and the reason that it takes so long to grind this coffee using the old-fashioned hand grinder is because, oh, you can't even see that in there because it's so dark. It makes the coffee into this super fine powder. Like it almost dissolves in the water. There. So I will put that back together, and set it out of the way. And the next thing that we put into our e-brick is some sugar. The amount of sugar that you use really is just a matter of your own preference. There, I'm making this a sweet pot. Then we're going to add some cold water to it. I know I'm pouring from my tea kettle, but it really is cold. And I didn't quite have enough in my tea kettle. Make sure I leave enough room for this to foam up. The trick to making Turkish coffee is to let it boil 3 times. So I'll adjust that flame so that I'm just heating up the space under the pot. And we'll see if I can get the camera close enough for you to actually see into that pot so you can see it start to boil. It takes a few minutes. Oh, I forgot to stir it up. Make sure that sugar gets dissolved in there. And I'm going to hold on to this spoon because I'm going to need it. I might have to do this as a time lapse. It just takes a few minutes and then it starts to foam and it'll kind of, the level of the foam will rise up to the top. I'm going to take it off the heat and then I will scoop some of that foam into my cup. I suppose if you were doing a smaller pot, it wouldn't take quite so long to boil. I keep thinking someday maybe I'll get myself like a single serving or maybe a 2-person size e-brick. Or maybe a Sesba. It would be nice to have one of those. This is kind of the opposite of the Keurig coffee, you know, where you just have instant gratification. And there's no way I could possibly drink this whole pot of Turkish coffee by myself. I would be twitching or something. But cold leftover Turkish coffee makes a pretty great iced coffee, so I don't see this as a waste. And I'm making this with some coffee that I roasted yesterday afternoon. It is, I think, the same coffee that I featured on my last podcast, the Kenya AB. And I've just been dying to taste this as a Turkish. Each different brew method really brings out different qualities of the coffee beans, so I'm really curious to see what the Turkish will do with this. Oh, now you're starting to see some bubbles just on the edges. Just barely starting to move there. I don't know if you can see this, but it's a darker color around the edges where it's starting to boil, and it's a lighter, like a cocoa color in the center. As soon as that starts to really go and rise up to the top, I'll turn the burner off.
Okay, why the third wire? Stop it.
I have my video camera going.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, snickerdoodles.
Ooh, snickerdoodles.
From Anna. I don't know. You want the children?
I would like Justin to practice his violin first.
Okay. And you are my chance.
Okay, now the bubbles are starting to rise. I want to let it get nice and foamy. This is the crema that's going to go on my cup. Oh, that looks good. Okay, turn the burner off. Scoop a little bit of that beautifulness off into my cup. Okay, now we're going to turn the burner back on. If I had more people I was serving, I would scoop some crema into each cup. Okay, that's boil number 2. Let that settle down a bit. And then I would scoop a little more crema off. And now boil number 3. This will be the last. There we go. Okay, now we're going to let some of the ground settle to the bottom of that, and then we'll pour it and enjoy. So while you're waiting for the grounds to settle, get yourself some ice water. Turkish coffee is traditionally served with ice water to cleanse the palate. And then we pour. And now we have a beautiful cup of Turkish coffee to enjoy. Well, I hope you enjoyed my demonstration. I was sipping on my Turkish coffee while I was showing that to you. So today's product feature from my Etsy shop is this cute little snowman. My little Amigurumi Snowman. And he was so much fun to make up. I just loved doing his little twig arms here. And he does have separate little fingers. His hat comes off. He has a little carrot nose. His little carrot nose. And, of course, his scarf comes off too. And he's just sitting there in my Etsy shop waiting for somebody to snag him up and use him in a cute winter wreath or something. So, there you go. Go sit over there, snowman. Alright, so one of the really, really cool things that happened since my last podcast, I saw that Vogue Knitting had started an Instagram account. And so I thought, oh, I love Vogue Knitting, you know, I'll follow their account. And they did a 10,000 subscriber or 10,000 follower giveaway, and I won it. I was actually the winner of Vogue Knitting's 10,000 follower giveaway on Instagram. So I want to show you all the cool stuff that they sent me. It's super exciting, and I got to get off camera here for a second to pick it up and show it to you. Okay, so I thought about waiting and unboxing it on camera, but then I realized it was going to be a while before I could actually have the time to do my podcast, so I opened it without you. Sorry. Anyway, I still have all the stuff in the box. I tried really hard not to use any of it before showing it on the podcast. However, there was one thing I had to use, and I'll show it to you. But anyway, okay, so I got a brand new pair of Fiskars scissors. And you know, if there's any crafting tool that I hoard and am addicted to, it's scissors. I have so many pairs of scissors, and I have so many different sizes and different styles, and oh gosh, I don't know. What is it about scissors? They're just so handy. I always have scissors around. So this was really cool. Not something I would think of putting in my knitting bag because they're large, but Christmas is coming and I do sew, and these are great fabric scissors. So yeah, brand new pair of fabric scissors. These are going to get used. So excited. Okay, so I'll set those aside. And the next thing that I'm going to show you is, okay, I'm trying to decide what order to go in here. Oh, okay, so pretty little zipper pouch, and inside we have, look at this, a whole set of interchangeable needles, and they're the shorty ones. I have a set of interchangeable needles, but they're the longer needle tips, you know, however long that is. These are the short ones, and they're bamboo, and they are, what brand are these? The little case doesn't have the brand name on it. So let me see if it says, oh, it doesn't even have the brand name on the needle. Okay, so they range from a size 3 to a size 13. And there's a Tulip brand needle gauge and measuring tool in here. So I'm thinking this might be actually a Tulip kit. Couple yarn needles. That's getting blown up. There we go. Of course, the cables that go with these, and they're interesting clear plastic cables. And I haven't tried them yet, so I don't know how the joins are, but oh my gosh, I didn't even realize this before. Okay, I'm gonna have to show this off, because like I said, I haven't used any of this before, and so this is, I'm still discovering all of the nifty nuances of this particular package of things. So I can get this out. Okay, so I'm going to show you. I think this is going to be awesome. All right, so I'm going to attach. No, it doesn't fit on there. What? How does this work? Oh, they are not like the Knit Picks ones at all. Okay, my other set of interchangeable needles is from Knit Picks, and you just, you know, screw it on, and it screws on right there where the threads are. But this set, you have to push it past the threads to screw it down, and it has, okay, cool. So this has such a smooth looking join. Can you see that? I'm not sure, my camera's just focusing on my face. Okay, so, but now look at this. I am holding onto this cable, and it is not moving, but I am spinning this needle. Yeah, these swivel on the cables. Can you believe it? I had no idea. I had no idea that this set would do this. Wow. Okay, so now I really can't wait to try these needles out. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. That is just like the coolest thing since sliced peanut butter. Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. This is so awesome. Okay. So, now to put these away again in the cute little case that they came in. And they're all different sizes and lengths, and I'm just going to coil them up and stick them back in this nifty little zipper pouch that's in the case. If I can get them. See, they were actually tied together when I pulled them out, and now they're not. Okay, so another thing that I like about this little case is that this zipper pouch, that the cables go in, and it actually has a cable connector in here, and it has the stoppers. But this is actually fabric. This is not plastic. It feels like a heavy duty, like a, nylon or something. It's gusseted here, and it actually, I think, has a divider in the middle. It does. It has a divider, so it's a 2-section fabric pouch in here. Wow. Okay, so these are going to get a review next time. That's super exciting. Okay, so, but that's not all. Vogue Knitting also sent me, see, this was the thing that I was the most excited about when I first opened the box, because these are Nina Swivel knitting needles by Tulip. Okay, so I'm thinking this must be just a whole package of Tulip products. And they're also the bamboo, but these are fixed circulars, not the interchangeables. So this is a 40-inch cable, size 4, which is a 3.5 millimeter. Super cool. Okay, there's also a 16-inch, size 4, fixed circular, and a 32-inch fixed circular, size 8, which is a 5 millimeter, and, oh, where's the pouch? I don't have it. Okay, so I'm going to have to show off a little bit of a whip here before I was planning on talking about whips. But this is the 24-inch of that same. I just couldn't not, try these out. They swivel, and that, oh my goodness, this is heaven to work with. Seriously. These are size 4, 3.5 millimeter, 24-inch cable. And you know how when you're knitting with circular needles and you turn your work around and then you just kind of automatically do that unwind thing, as you turn it around and you start to work again. I found myself doing that just out of habit a couple times as I was working on this. But you don't have to. I mean, it doesn't kink up. And when I laughed at myself for like doing that motion so much out of habit. But I really didn't need to. It did not ever twist up and flop around on me and get all annoying like circular needles can do. So yeah, I love these, and wow, I can't believe that I have a whole set of interchangeable needles that swivel. Thank you, Vogue Knitting. Oh my gosh, but that's not all, okay? Let me show you what else they sent. There is also this cool bag, the zipper pouch here, and it is a Haya brand right there. And I'm going to put all those cool knitting needles right in here, and I will probably find some other notions too. It also has a little zipper pocket inside, right there, just like that. So I can put stitch markers in there, I can put a measuring tape in there, I can put a little pair of scissors inside. I love the peacock pattern of this fabric. Oh my goodness. I love that peacock colorway. It's so cool. And yeah, it feels nice. I can't wait to use this. But that's not all. Look what else they sent me. I also have my very own copy of the Knitter's Journal. The Knitter's Journal from Swatch to Stash. It has this cool elasticy thing to hold it closed, because when you start using this, I am sure that it's going to need something to hold it together, because this thing has, let me show you, it's got a section on resources and references, and it's got knitting books. It has estimated yarn requirements, how to read a yarn label, a place to write down the name of a yarn, the website you got it from, the date, any information that you might want to keep track of for your yarns, knitting events and holidays schedule that you can fill in. You can put in birthdays, so that you can plan projects for people. Oh my goodness, a needle inventory, knitting design graph paper. I'm a graph paper addict. as well as scissor hoarder. I just love all of these. Oh, here's Intarsia design paper, shadow knitting design paper. Oh my goodness. Okay, current projects. And it says insert swatch right there, and there's a pocket that you can put your swatch for your project. Right there, you can write down the yarn, the gauge, the pattern, the name of your project, any other notions, and I mean, here's another page, just like that, and then pages for notes, and here's another. It's I don't know how many projects did you have going? 5. It's got room for 5 projects, and this is like glossy cardstock. So I'm thinking if you had a wet erase marker, you could write on this and wipe it off. Maybe I haven't really dug into it yet, but I'm guessing that might be what you could do here. And then we have my yarn stash with little holes that you can feed your yarns through and actually keep a little sample, and you can write down the yarn company, the color, the dye lot, the yardage, the number of skeins that you've got. And this is also on that heavy glossy cardstock, so I guess you could update it as needed. There's a gauge, needle gauge and ruler here, and a tool for measuring your gauge. There's also a clear plastic zipper pouch to put whatever else you might need to keep track of in there. I don't know, buttons or whatever. So yeah, the Knitter's Journal from Swatch to Stash. That's going to be a fun tool. So I got a whole box full of awesome knitting tools from Vogue Knitting, and wow, that's super exciting. So now it is time for some podcast love. I have been watching Kristy Glass knits lately, and she has been so fun to watch, mostly because she does these short little snippets of videos that are like 10 or 15 minutes long, and she's just talking about you know, her latest finished object or whatever. And then she also has full-length podcasts, which are a lot of fun. She does lots of interviews with people, and it's really fascinating to learn about these people in the knitting world. So I have been enjoying the Kristy Glass Knits podcast, and let's see. Oh, I also wanted to mention the Sweet Maria's Coffee podcast. If you are interested in coffee and new ways of brewing, getting the most out of your coffee beans, check out Sweet Maria's. They supply a lot of home roasters, and they give you an awful lot of information about the coffee beans that you can get that are available now. Just lots of good information. If you want to learn about coffee, that's the place to go. And I have to mention again Levi of WTF Knitting. He is one of my test knitters, and he's been working on one of my projects that is going to be released through Knit Picks probably in December. It does have a couple of things that I need to clean up in the pattern still, so that's why I can't show it to you yet. But Levi has his sample that he's been showing off in his podcast, and he's doing a great job with it. So if you would like to see it, it is called the Think of Me shawl. And he actually, in his podcast this week, went into quite a lengthy discussion of a trick that he used to get the stitches picked up for the edging all nice and neat along the whole length of the shawl. So I will probably incorporate some of that into my pattern when I have it finalized. So thank you, Levi, for that awesome information and for giving me a tip that I can pass along to other people so that the pattern is a little bit easier to work. I know that picking up a lot of stitches is very frustrating for a lot of people. I don't really mind picking up stitches. I guess I have a lot of experience with that, so I didn't think it was going to be a problem, but I know that it can be frustrating. So Levi's podcast has a really good tip for picking up stitches and picking them up evenly, so please go check that out. So now we are on to whips. I have been working on a lot of super secret squirrel stuff that I can't show you yet because I want you all to be surprised when I have things ready to release. But I am working on, besides the Think of Me shawl, a very cool collaboration between me and Lynn of Sunshine and Bubblegum and Dawn of Chasing Rabbits Fiber Company. And Dawn does not have a podcast, but you can certainly check out her Etsy shop, which is Chasing Rabbits Fiber Co., I think. And then Lynn of Sunshine and Bubblegum, she does have a podcast, so check out her podcast. It's a lot of fun. I really like Lynn. She's a sweetheart. But what I can show you is the yarn that Dawn dyed for me. For this project, she custom dyed 3 colorways for me. I'm writing a pattern. Lynn of Sunshine and Bubblegum is making a project bag that will match the project and the yarn. And I'm in the middle of knitting up the samples. So anyway, the first one that I have finished, I actually have this caked up right now, and I don't have a skein that I haven't already wound up anymore. I did get some pictures of them. I might insert a picture here of the skein because it's really, really pretty. But this is the ball. And if that happens to look to you like a marmalade striped kitty cat a little bit, that was the goal. So that is colorway number 1. Colorway number 2, here's her ball band, Chasing Rabbits Fiber Co. This one, I hope, looks sort of like a black and gray striped tabby cat, and it actually is knitting up really nicely. And then the third colorway, I can't wait to see how this knits up, guys. This one just, I'm saving the best for last. I haven't broken into this one yet. This one is the calico colorway. Oh my goodness, isn't that fun? I cannot wait to knit this up. And it is going to be so fun to put in the project bags that Lynn is working on because they match these yarns so well. It's going to be so cool. So yeah, I am just working on the samples, and I dropped my yarn, and grading sizes so that I can offer a small size, like a small medium, and then a medium large. And yeah. This is just so cool, and I wish I could show you the whole thing. I really, really, really do, but I don't want to spoil the surprise yet. Not too soon. So, we'll put this all back in the bag, and hopefully, shortly, I will have this ready to show off for real. But I just really wanted to show you this yarn and put in a plug for Dawn and Chasing Rabbits Fiber Co. She's got some really nice colorways, and you really, really should go check them out because they're great. And Dawn is such a nice person, sweetheart. We have gotten to know each other a little bit over Instagram messages back and forth, and I've really enjoyed working with her and with Lynn. This is just going to be such a fun collaboration. I can't wait to have it ready. Okay, so let's see. Oh, my next I'm not at FOs yet. My next whip. Okay, I'll go. I'm so scatterbrained today. Anyway, I'll talk about this one first. So this one was really kind of a yarn doodle. I needed something to work on while we had company here. My daughter's birthday was this last Sunday, and we had family over and friends, and the house was just packed full of people. And I love all of my family, and I love all of our friends, and I love seeing them, and it was a fabulous day. But I also need something to keep my hands busy with that many people around. So I just picked up the yarn and I started working on this. It's got this little, like a chain thing going on the edges, and then it's got a 6 strand cable running through it. And I think this is going to be a band for a hat, right? Like that. And I will knit it flat and then seam it up at the back, and then I'll pick up stitches, because that's what Levi loves to do the best, pick up stitches. So I will pick up the stitches, and then I will work the crown up from here. And I'm thinking I might actually pick up some stitches at the bottom and work some ear flaps that could tuck up underneath like a military cold weather cap. We shall see. I haven't quite decided, but this is what I have been working on lately when I don't want to think about issues with resizing my other pattern. You know, this is the procrastination pattern right here. And I am working with Knit Picks Stroll Fingering in their Jack Rabbit Heather colorway. Can you see that? Yes. Okay, I like this color. It's just a nice rustic looking, comfortable color. And I'm also using those cool tulip swiveling fixed circular needles here that I showed you already. So the cable patterns came from an old book that I've had in my library for a long time, the Harmony Guides, 220 Aran Stitches and Patterns, Volume 5. The Harmony Guides are really cool, just lots of good basic information. And so I don't even know how long I've had this book. I've had it for a long time. It's just kind of my go-to for Aran designs. Lots of awesome cable work in there. And, okay, now the next whip that I have to show you was a total experiment. I'm going to show you some pictures of the process that we went through. I took a couple of my kids to Michael's yesterday because I had ordered a sock blank from Knit Picks, and it came in the mail. And so I was so excited. I was like, yeah, I got to do something with this sock blank, and I don't know what. But let's go to Michael's and we'll look at fabric dyes. So we went to Michael's, and I did not find any dyes specific for yarn. I did find tie-dye kits. So we picked out a tie-dye kit, and they also had t-shirts on sale for $3 a shirt. So I let the kids each pick a white t-shirt in their appropriate size. So we came home with a tie-dye kit and 2 t-shirts, and I had this sock blank in my hand, and we're like, okay, well, let's watch some YouTube videos and figure out what we're supposed to be doing. So we watched a bunch of videos, and then we needed to make dinner. So we took a break, made dinner, then, you know, ate dinner, cleaned off the table, laid out newspapers, laid out plastic wrap over the newspapers, and the kids, we pre-washed the t-shirts while we were having dinner. And so we were all ready to go. The t-shirts were all soaked and damp and everything, and I soaked my yarn blank, and I kept telling the kids, okay, you can start with your t-shirts, but please save me some dye for my sock blank. So we were trying really carefully to not use too much dye, and I shouldn't have worried because we had plenty of dye. We actually dyed one of my husband's t-shirts since we were, you know, playing with the dye. Why not? So we have 2 brand new white t-shirts, 1 dingy, not so brand new white t-shirt, and my sock blank. And for the sock blank, I had seen on another podcast a tip. Somebody said that you should thicken the dye if you want to do designs on a sock blank, like a painted picture, so that the dye doesn't bleed out and, you know, make your designs all fuzzy and indistinct. So I got into my kitchen and like, what do I have that I could thicken yarn dye with? Well, I have some guar gum. So I got my little 1/4 teaspoon measure and I put it into the the dye squeezy bottle and shook it all up. I thought, well, it feels thicker than it was. And I'm shaking it, shaking it, shaking it, going, well, I think I need it thicker. So I put another 1/4 teaspoon of guar gum in, and I shook it up some more. And I thought, oh, I don't know if this is really thick enough. It still feels really watery. So I put another 1/4 teaspoon in. So I had 3/4 of a teaspoon of guar gum in this little squeezy bottle that was like only half full now. Shook it all up. Did that for 2 of the colors. And I left the third color watery. I didn't thicken the third color. So then I set the stuff down, and I went to get my yarn blank that was soaking, and I had to, you know, squeeze it out and roll it in the towel and get all of the excess water out of it. And by the time I got back to the table and ready to actually dye the yarn blank, any of you guys who have done this already know what happened. Can you guess? My thickened dye was like the consistency of jelly. It was so thick. So that was interesting. Next time I will not use so much guar gum. But I took one of the kids' paintbrushes, one of those thick-handled, stiff, like a preschool paintbrush. And that was what I used. I had a stencil, and I laid the stencil out on the yarn blank, and I just started dabbing that thick color into the yarn and kind of pushing it in, and then I dipped the brush in some water and I dabbed it some more to try and get it to really soak into the fibers and saturate it. So I did that. It took a lot longer than I thought it would, probably because my dye was so thick that I was having to really work it and get it in the fibers and add water. And I think in some places I added too much water, and so my design became more fuzzy, you know, which is what I was trying to avoid. But the whole thing was a big experiment anyway. I have never even seen a sock blank. So, yeah, I have this knitting machine. It's actually sitting right here next to me. And I'm trying to get it set up so that I can make some sock blanks. And I thought, you know, I should know what a sock blank is like before I try and make one. Like, do you do a cast on at the beginning so that it has a solid edge at the bottom, or do you just do a waste cast on? It looked to me like they started with some waste yarn and then just took the waste yarn out and left it loopy at the end. I can do that. So, but I didn't know that that was how it was done before I got the sock blank. So anyway, I'm going to go get it. It is hanging to dry right now, so it's going to be a little bit damp, but I'll show you what it looks like right now. Okay, so now I have a damp sock blank in my hands, but I stenciled a little birdie with some leaves and a branch, and then I repositioned the birdie here, and then flipped him around again here, and then my daughter helped me with this end. She decided it needed a little more green, and so I thought, okay, well, we can have a little section of green at that end. Little greeny bluey. I expect this will just be a nice, like a watercolor look when it's actually knitted up into socks. I don't know exactly what it'll look like, of course, but I do have a little bit. I think the next time I dye a sock blank, I'm going to run lifelines through the loops on the ends, because as I was working it, quite a bit of it came unraveled on me, and oh, this is getting really, really blown out. I'll put a picture in here so that you can see it. I did take some pictures of it in this whole process. So anyway, I think it's going to just have a really nice watercolor effect. And I'm really looking forward to my little birdie socks. I like the way that my dark blue kind of mottled here, and I didn't just have a solid blue, you know? I like that it's darker and lighter, and I tried to do that on purpose. So that's my big experiment for the week. And it was a lot of fun, and the kids had fun tie-dyeing their shirts. And I'll put pictures at the end of the kids with their tie-dyed shirts. They're very proud of them. And they're planning on wearing them for music practice tonight. Let's move on to FOs. I have been working on knitted knockers because October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I have been using Paton's Grace, which is a mercerized cotton yarn, and it is one of the yarns that is approved by the Knitted Knockers organization. If you want information about knitting these, they are prosthetics for women who have had mastectomies. These ones have not been stuffed. Okay, we had a slight interruption. My battery on my video camera died, and so I thought, oh, I'll just throw my extra battery on there. And my other extra battery was dead too, so I started charging up the battery, and I drank the rest of my Turkish coffee, and then I thought, wait a minute, I wonder if I can just plug it into the wall. So I went and grabbed an extension cord and plugged it in, and lo and behold, here we are, finishing the podcast. So, I was in the middle of talking about knitted knockers. Here we have a knitted knocker. It has not been stuffed because they're easier to ship if they are not stuffed yet. It also allows them at knittedknockers.org to adjust the size and the amount of stuffing. So they're made with a hole in the back side here that you can put the stuffing through, and closed at the top with a nice little I-cord finish. And I have 4 of these, although I only have 3 here, but anyway, 2 matching sets, all finished. So that's one FO, and I have another FO in here that I believe I can talk about safely because the recipient of this gift is not home right now. So, for the sneaky gift cow, I think I showed this last time on my podcast, but they were a whip last time, now they're FOs. So, this is a nice cabled sock with a short row heel. It's cabled up the back and the front of the sock, the foot I mean, stockinette across the bottom of the foot. And this is Knit Picks Stroll Glimmer, and I think I said the color was J last time. I'm not 100% sure that that's correct, but I will try and get that information and put it in my show notes, just in case you are interested in making something like this. I just love the way it sparkles. So that is a complete pair of socks, ends finished, ready to gift. Okay. And then, I'm not sure if I showed these off last time or not. These are 6-year-old socks. They're just vanilla socks with a short row heel, made out of a gray. This is a Lion brand yarn. I think it's an acrylic wool blend. It's nice and chunky and thick and warm, and this will be perfect for sledding in the snow this winter. We have a family tradition. We call it the snow trip with capital letters. Every year we go to Odell Lake in Oregon, and because we live in Oregon, and actually that's near where I grew up. They have snow always in the wintertime. Most times. We've actually had a few mud trips where there was more mud than snow, but this year I'm hoping we'll have some really good snow, and he will be able to wear those socks for the snow trip. So yeah, I don't have a whole lot of FOs to show you, mostly because I've been working on this super secret stuff that I can't show off yet. I do have one FO in that, but you're gonna have to wait. Sorry. I love surprises, which is why the sneaky gift cal is happening. So I will talk a little bit about that. The sneaky gift cal is a chance for you to knit along with me for Christmas presents for family and friends, and show off your projects on my Ravelry group, which is Little Woolly Things Podcast. You can show off all of those things you've been dying to show people, but you can't because they're going to be Christmas presents or whatever. The CAL runs until January 1st. I will be drawing prizes after January 1st from both the FO thread and the chatter thread. So there will be at least 2 prizes given out. I hope that I have at least 2 people joining me. That would be fun. Actually, I would really love to see all the projects you guys are working on. My idea was that I wanted to hear all of the stories of the ways that you work on projects without letting anybody see because they're secrets. So I haven't heard any stories yet. I would love to hear somebody's stories. Mine, like I knit after the kids are in bed. Some of my projects I knit out in the open because my kids know that I will not show them a project I'm working for them, so they assume I'm working on something for somebody else. So, don't tell. That's been my tactic lately. Although I do try to not make a big show of something if I'm working on a gift. And my daughter Elena came in this morning and I was working on the cabled thing that I showed you just a minute ago. And she said, "Ooh, what's that?" And I said, "Oh, it's something for somebody. I don't know." Just didn't go into it. It's not for her. But I don't want her telling the person that I am thinking about giving it to that I'm working on something for them, or what it might look like, or how cool it's going to be, or anything. So we just don't talk about things like that. Not at this time of the year. It's too close to Christmas. You just don't ask questions. Okay, so now I think I showed you a little bit of my yarn acquisitions already, talking about the super secret project collaboration that's coming up, that I'm hoping to have available sometime in December. But I did something I have never done before, ever. I saw a skein of yarn that is dyed by Tristan of Dragon Hoard Yarns, and it was too close to my birthday. I mean, seriously, that was what it was. It was too close to my birthday, and I saw this yarn, and I thought, oh my gosh, I have to have that yarn. I've never done this before. I mean, I've seen yarn that I loved, and I thought, oh, the next time I buy yarn, that's on my wish list. That's at the top. But I saw this, and I bought it, like, within 2 minutes of seeing it. And this is by Dragon Hoard Yarn. It is on her Enchantress sock base, which is a fingering weight, 80% superwash merino, 10% nylon, 10% cashmere, and she called it Turkey Coma. So I had to have it. These are going to be my Thanksgiving socks. I love the colors, and she's actually been knitting a pair of socks with this yarn and posting pictures on Instagram of her progress. So anyway, I got that. And then my bestie and I went to our local yarn shop, which, I mean, I've been living here for almost 4 years, and I have never been in this yarn store before. Shame on me. I kind of knew that there was a yarn store in Roseburg, but I didn't know anything about it, and it's way downtown, which is the opposite side of Roseburg from where I live, and I live 40 miles outside of there. So, I don't ever go downtown in Roseburg. I haven't been by it. I haven't really thought about it. I have been ordering yarn online, and I've been missing out. Seriously. The store is called Naughty Lady Yarns. This is the bag. Naughty Lady. It's got all their info there. And this place is an absolute treasure. It's a gold mine. It's, wow, all the cool yarns. I mean, I got Hedgehog Fibers mini here. because I wanted that red to go with my turkey Coma socks. That's going to be part of my toes and maybe a band around the top. I also got Madelinetosh unicorn tail here, and this color is called Glazed Pecan, and another Madelinetosh in Jade, and it's looking a lot brighter to me than it is in real life on the camera. But I think these three colors, along with the turkey Coma, are just going to be so festive, so bright and cheery, that no matter how many hours I am up on my feet dealing with turkeys and stuffing and mashed potatoes and gravy and cranberry sauce, I can at least have comfy socks and look down at my feet and see this gorgeousness and think, oh, I love this. Yeah, that's what I'm going to need. So those are my yarn acquisitions. Now I also have been ordering some other little goodies to put in my prize packages for the knit along. Okay, so I got some stitch markers and progress keepers, and let's see, I want to make sure that I get them straight and I don't give you false information. So the Knitty by Nature shop, which is run by Melissa, I'll show you what I ordered first, and then I'll show you what she gave me to use as giveaways. So this one I ordered as a giveaway for the knit along, the sneaky gift cow, because I just thought it was so appropriate to the theme. It is a little candy cane and some jingle bells, and the bells jingle! Isn't that awesome? I love it. So this is her card, Knitty by Nature shop, and I'm covering up some vital information there. There we go. So there's her card, and that is going to be part of the prize package for the sneaky gift cow. Alright, so much crinkling. And then I also bought this progress keeper, which is a cute little kitty cat. Isn't that cute? A little kitty cat with a ball of yarn. And she sent me this button and the cute little sheepy. Is that a progress keeper? It is a progress keeper and two little ring stitch markers. And look at what else she sent. Okay, this is a set of 3 stitch markers, little ring stitch markers, and 2 progress keepers. The little dancing or skating snowman and the snowflake are both progress keepers, and they're on this little holder. And she just sent that to me to use as a giveaway. So that will be given away at some point. And actually I think I might do a giveaway today. I might just give away that set of stitch markers. So that is Melissa of Knitty by Nature shop. And I also ordered another package of stitch markers. And this is from I'm covering up my notes, Shiny Sheep Studio, and this is Isabel. And Isabel just opened her Etsy shop just a few weeks ago, and so I was so excited to finally order her stitch markers. She has been showing them off on her Instagram account since she started making them. She built up quite a bit of inventory before she opened her shop, and she just posted pictures after, picture after picture after picture of these stitch marker sets and progress keepers and things. And so I bought from her a set of progress keepers. That cute little sheepy. Come on. There we go. Cute little sheepy. Another cute little sheepy. And he's made out of balls of yarn. Isn't that cute? And then another little sheepy. These are all progress keepers with a gold tone finish. He's also made out of balls of yarn. So I've got 3 little progress keepers that are going to be giveaways. Okay, and I bought a set of these for myself, but I also bought a set to give away. This is 1 progress keeper and 4 stitch markers. And they are all little gingerbread men. Aren't they adorable? They are just the cutest little things. I love these little guys. And I thought that would be so perfect as part of the prize package for the Sneaky Gift Cal. So, you know, gingerbread holiday themed. You can look forward to that being in one of the prize packages. And Isabel was so sweet, she actually sent me a set of these for myself. So I have a set, and I am using it on one of my super secret projects, so I can't show you that particular one, but it looks just like these ones. She also sent me, with those little gift markers, a packet of tea, the wild apple and cinnamon tea, and I tell you, the whole package, when I opened it up, smelled like this tea. It smelled so good. And Isabel is located in the UK, so it took a while for these to get here to me, and it still smelled amazing. So I can't wait to drink this tea and knit and just have some time to myself after the kids are in bed, you know what I mean? Maybe I will even knit in the bathtub, who knows? Do you ever knit in the bathtub? It's one of my favorite things to do because nobody messes with mommy when she's in the bathtub. Okay, so I think that is probably all I have for you. I am going to give away this set of stitch markers. So, in order to win this cute little set of stitch markers, I would like you to go to my Ravelry group, and I will open a thread for the stitch marker giveaway. And I would like you to tell me which project you think you would most like to attach these little stitch markers to. There, they're so pretty. So cute. I love the little snowflake and the snowman. He's just so cute. Okay, so thank you so much for watching my podcast. I feel like this is going to be the longest podcast I've ever done, and I hope you like it. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and give it a thumbs up, which makes my podcast show up a little bit higher in the search rankings and allows more people to find my podcast, which helps me out an awful lot. So I hope you enjoy it, and happy knitting! Bye!